I feel it's long overdue for you to have an episode where hot tea is spilled, nonsense is discussed, and lots of laughs are happening. Today, we're going to talk about things like dick delirium, really serious topics, really bad dates, crazy stuff that's happened, spiritual fantasy marketers and coaches. And this includes a demonologist. We're covering all the things with my co host today, Regina Lawrence, who is the founder of the Breathe Retreats. You need to go. You need to sign up. We have all the information in the show notes. We will also probably be discussing my jungle lover fantasy that may occur this year or not. So buckle up, get ready to be completely unavailable and unbothered with the two of us. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. And back by popular demand, you have a co-host episode. We've got Regina Lawrence in the house. She is coming in live from Tulum, Mexico, from her bed. I am also in bed. And I'm coming to you live from the ocean in Manhattan Beach, California, Los Angeles. So if that doesn't set the stage for you, I don't like that we're 3 hours apart right now.
It feels very weird.
I don't like it. But what I do enjoy is, you guys, I wake up most mornings with a private podcast episode from her, oftentimes in real time. Could be at 3 a.m. of her riding on her scooter with what has occurred that evening. And there is nothing more delightful than waking up to these messages. And then what's so crazy is, in a matter of a few hours, like, you're like out and about and working. So
yes,
help me understand why you require no sleep since you've moved there.
Feel so alive since moving to Mexico. I feel so invigorated. I think that this is a testament to, like, when you are living in alignment and living where you want to live, living in joy, creating a life that you want, I don't need as much sleep. So I can go out and dance and hook up with guys and have the time of my life. And then I get up in the morning and I work my business. It is how it is.
Really,
and I love
remarkable. I mean, you're texting me. She's texting me videos of like full on dance parties like on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Meanwhile, like, I'm rotting in a robe in my couch eating protein. Like, and I love every part of it. And do you notice, like, before we get into like all of our wild topics today, how has been like the reaction from people in your life since you've made this move? Because there are so many people who dream of moving abroad, dream of moving to a beach, like dream of even like, having a podcast like this. And it's like,
Totally.
When you're doing something and you really take the action and pursue your dreams, it can cause some triggering with people. And you've also had like an amazing health glow up as well that coincides with this.
Yes.
So what's going on?
Yeah. Well, first of all, people, like, it blows people's minds when an American packs up their life and moves out of the country. That, because I think so many people have the desire to do that, but it's just like a fantasy to them. It's like, oh, I'd love to move to the beach somewhere. I'd love to move. People go on vacation to Mexico and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful here. Like, I can't believe people live here. So one, people are just in disbelief that I have packed up my life and moved to Mexico. People are very curious, like, how did you do it? Like, how were you able to do it? I think some people are a little like people who will be like, "Oh my God, is it safe? Are you okay?" Like, and put like negative energy towards it. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
obviously I've thought about my safety before I moved to another country. Like, that
I
would
mean,
be
and
something.
how safe are we in the United States?
Exactly. But I do think, like, that's just kind of people's propaganda. Like, people live in Chicago. Like, I'm from Philadelphia. North Philadelphia is the heroin capital of the world. Like, let's just be clear about where we've all come from,
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
So, I don't think Mexico is where I'm at in Mexico is no less safe than where I was living at in Scottsdale or Phoenix. Like, the crime is probably less here, but people are very interested. People have a lot of questions. There's a lot of curiosity. There's also a lot of excitement. Like, people are constantly DMing me and being like, "Oh my gosh, your life is so interesting." Like, and are loving that I'm really making the effort on my social media to show a lot of my life, to share stories, to talk about my dating life, to talk about my adventures, and to showcase what I'm doing because people are so interested in it.
Well, when you're pursuing something that you said you wanted to do, it is proof of what's possible
Totally.
for people. It's like the show Emily in Paris, right? Like how many
Mm-hmm.
people want to do that. And I know a lot of people who have done it. And the
Same.
only difference between someone who's dreaming it and someone who does it, no matter what your dream is the audacity to take the action to do it
Totally.
and
Totally.
being unbothered and unavailable for being worried about what will so and so think. Oh, our
Totally.
family is going to be upset. Who am I to do this? Is this irresponsible? I mean, you could always come back, like me starting the podcast. Like, I gave myself permission regularly and I still do. I could quit at any time.
Totally. I think for me, like when I make a decision to do something, I am unavailable for anyone else's opinions. I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. And my family, the joke in my family is the line they always say is Regina does whatever Regina wants because I do. Like, I'm from a family where none of my sisters have college educations. I have a doctorate. I have a doctorate in law and I have a master's in law.
I didn't know
All
you.
of
Wait a second. Wait. We always learn something new every time I talk to you. Wait a second. Does this mean I could call you doctor? Like, are you talking like a PhD?
No, I'm a JD, but a
Oh,
JD is
okay.
a doctorate.
But
But like,
we should be able to call you doctor, though. That's not
I mean,
really fair.
honestly, thank you. I would love it if people called me Dr. Lawrence, okay? Because I
But like,
technically
that's
do.
not really fair because like a chiropractor gets to be called a doctor and a psychologist gets to be called a doctor.
I know. And I am technically a doctor of law. I have a doctorate in law.
I mean, that's really hot. I'm into it. I'll take it. And let us know if you are loving these co-host episodes so much by taking a screenshot, sharing it on your social media, Instagram, Facebook stories. You can share it in TikTok and tag us at Project Me with Tiffany. And damn it. No, wait, I
I
got it. No, don't say it. I got it. I got it. And at Regina A. Lawrence. I did it. I'm really proud of myself.
You guys know this. You probably do because you're listeners of this podcast, but like, Tiffany doesn't always remember things because when you have complex PTSD, you don't always remember the details of things. And so when there's sometimes she wants to remember things to say, and she'll like on a podcast together and she'll write a post-it note or say it over and over again. But you remember my handle of my Instagram. I'm
I
so
like lost it
impressed.
and then I got it back. I'm really proud of myself.
I'm very proud of you. This is epic. Epic.
So, if you have been following Regina's stories, you do have to be in her close friends, but you can DM her and ask to get on that.
Yes,
And she'll let you in as long as you're like, you've listened on the show. It's not like you
absolutely.
can't be like some rando. You have to say, like, I listened to the podcast. And she shares her full on dating escapades. There are now so many, and you have not been in Tulum that long to
I've been here
where
for eight
I have
weeks.
forgotten about some of these men.
I have forgotten about some of these men too, and then I see them at a bar and I'm like, oh, I had sex with that man.
And but there's like a few standouts. And like
There's one
right,
main standout.
and this standout I got to experience, and because I've been there myself, so I knew what was like going on before
Mm-hmm.
I even said, "Oh, I know what's going on here."
Mm-hmm.
Where Regina had definitely contracted dick delirium. Interrupting this riveting conversation for today's sponsor of the show, and it's the Secret Posse Weekly Digest. This is my special email community where you get direct emails from me that are highly personal, behind the scenes, actual journal entries of mine over the years of growing my business around manifestation, things that have been going on in my life. I share private photos from my camera roll. Plus, this is also where you get the first dibs on my giveaways, on sales, on any launches that I have going on. You want to be on this list, is my point. It's absolutely free. You can join by going to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. You can also swipe up, access it in the show notes or here in the description on Project Me TV on YouTube. It's also in my link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. So even go pause this episode, join so that you don't forget because we've got some special stuff coming.
Yes. So, my friends who are listening, if you are not familiar with the term dick delirium is when you lose your mind over how good the D is. The D, the sausage, the salchiche, okay? It's when the D is so good, you lose your mind. Let me give you a prime example of what dick delirium looks like in real time. I met a man, we'll call him the Italian because that's what we call him. And he invited me over late one evening after work around 11:30 at night. It was pouring in Tulum. Maybe like tropical storm pouring. That's how much it was pouring. And I decided I was going to go over and hook up with the Italian. So I got on my bike. By the way, I don't drive a car in Tulum. I drive a scooter. And when I say a scooter, it's not like a bird scooter. Those are for kids. I drive like a motorcycle. Okay? Get on my motorcycle looking very cute. And I have to put on a poncho, like a trash bag poncho. I'm driving to this man's house in the poncho in the not light rain. We have actually a video of this in the pouring rain. And I decide that this moment is so funny that I have to show Tiffany. So I screen video myself with my iPhone and let her know how unwell I am with the dick delirium so she can see me showing up at this man's house. That's what dick delirium does to you. It puts you on your motorcycle at 11 o'clock at night wearing a trash bag to meet the salchiche.
I was like, I know exactly what's going on. Then your disease escalated.
Wait, I think I have amnesia. What happened?
Your disease escalated because instead of like, playing it cool and like,
No.
waiting like for him to contact you and bobbity bobbity boo. No, your ass was hitting him up. Like, what's you doing?
You up. You up. I was sending you up text messages to this man at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning when I would leave the bar. You up. He's not up. He's a hardworking man. He's in bed. He's getting up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning to do the work. And I am you upping him at 2 a.m. with no response. And you know what? He wouldn't respond. And then I double text. I triple text. I was like,
This is when I cut her off.
I got
This
cut
is when I
off.
cut her off. I said, no, we're not. We can't do this. We cannot. You cannot. You have to stop. You're like, I know. I do need to stop. So we had to like help in order to help cure this condition or lessen the symptoms of dick
Yes,
delirium. Here's the key. You have to have a friend that is going to help you find a way for you to actually like find them repulsive.
absolutely. You have to humanize them and like, but even more than humanize them, you have to find. So let me give you an example of what we did. I went through this man's social media. This man is ESL, English as a second language. That's important for this. And he was writing captions on Instagram that were like, do you guys know that quote? If you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. Like that category of a quote. He was putting quotes like that on thirst trap pictures of himself. That helped
And the
get over
more
him.
that Regina was reading to me, the more I started getting turned off by him. And it was just like it was so basic and not attractive. But I mean, we had to dig deep. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, obviously, like we had to really go deep on this one because there weren't many things to go after in terms of him being disgusting.
Right. And it worked. I mean, I stopped texting him you up, but if he texted me in the middle of this podcast, I would tell you guys I had to go.
I asked you that the other day. I was like, if he like hit you up on a random Wednesday, even if it was a month from now, she like cut me off. She's like, I'm going. I'm there.
I have a client meeting. I have pneumonia.
And
I have a
got,
trip
like
planned.
this never leaves. Like so you always have a degree of it with this person because even as time goes on, it could be 20 years from now, and
Mhm.
Regina will recall this man.
Yes, absolutely. The other part of this that makes this more interesting is I live in a town that's tiny. There's like 17 people that live in this town. I see this man every day of the week almost. I see him 6 out of 7 days a week everywhere I go. So I can't even fully get over the dick delirium fully. Like I still get that tinge every I saw him this morning when I went to get a pastry at the bakery.
So
I
basically, you're saying I'm actually going to meet him.
oh oh, you're gonna see him every day you're in
Like I
town.
will meet all the full cast.
Oh, you will meet the full cast of characters in my sex life.
Wait, this is so good.
You're gonna
And it's a
meet
tax
all
write-off.
you're gonna meet every single one of them, and then I'm gonna have to pull you aside because you're not gonna remember who a lot of them are and give you the story, and then you'll be like, oh, that's one. No, you will meet every single one of them. Every time I go to a bar in Tulum, they are all in the same room. Every one of
Wow.
them. Yes, I know.
I don't even know what to say about that. I've never been in a situation like that where it's that condensed of an environment. So let's talk about the stuff that's giving you an ick. Because as much as there's like lots of hot men and lots of fun things happening there, you have definitely gotten to another level and another list of things that give you the ick. I feel like I have as well this year, and I'm not sure why or what happened, but there's lots of stuff where I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'm really
Yeah.
turned off by this.
It's because we've reached a new level of being unavailable for certain things. I'm unavailable for a lot of things. Like, and things that I never even knew bothered me, or I just kind of stomached because I was like, well, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't wear shoes. Like, no, like you're walking on asphalt, put shoes on.
So, is there any situation where a guy is barefoot, aside from in a home or a hotel room, that's acceptable to you?
Many situations because I don't like to wear shoes. I'm fine if a guy is sitting at the coffee shop and takes his shoes off. and is like walking around.
It's more
Doesn't
like in the market.
It's more like you're at the grocery store, or you're walking on the street. Like Tulum is still a third world place. Like there's trash and broken glass and like dog shit.
People
Like
do it here at the beach, and it's still disgusting.
and I think I'd even feel differently about it. Like we're in town. We're like 10 minutes from the ocean. It's not like we walk out our front doors and there's sand. Like you're in Pueblo. Put shoes on.
Don't you think it like is more about the hygiene factor? Like if they're okay having that level of dirty, crusty feet, what else is dirty and crusty on them?
Agreed. A
And how
thousand
dirty and
percent.
crusty is their house?
How dirty and crusty is their house is a great question. Ugh.
My guess is it's probably like frat house style if you're
I've
not
seen
wearing
some
shoes.
I've seen some frat houses here. I no me gusta. I'm not interested.
I can't do it.
No.
I really I have done it, and I can't do it cuz like we're both Virgos, PS. And even though I am not someone who's an organized person, I'm very tidy and clean. I get very grossed out when you go into like a guy's bathroom
Yeah.
and there's like hairs from them shaving still
Yes.
stuck to the side of the sink, or like pubes around like
Oh,
the toilet.
no.
Or like they might not be pubes, they might be like chest hairs. I don't care what they are. They're short hairs.
Oh.
That is disgusting, and that's a guy knowing you're coming over, or there's a
Right.
possibility of a woman coming over, and that is how they've tidied up.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's a no for me. No, the cleanliness stuff is really gross for me. The the shoeless thing is really gross for me. Oh, also like things that are not necessarily cleanliness things. I mean, I could go on about cleanliness. Like there's lots of things that are like an ick for me. Like men that like don't use a laundry basket and just like their shit on the floor. You have a
Or
laundry basket.
it's strewn about or in a corner.
Yeah. Like
Like you can't be bothered to get a laundry basket. Like obviously, we're not talking about like an 18-year-old. It's like
no.
you can't get a fucking laundry basket. Like I'm concerned for you.
Or if you know that I'm coming over, put all your dirty clothes in the washing machine, just like as your laundry basket. Do something, you know?
But what I find funny is your level of annoyance now for white American men in particular.
I'm not fucking with them. I'm not fucking with white American men in Tulum. I was at this hotel the other week doing work on a Sunday, and it's vibey. There's like this Afro house DJ playing music, like people are having a great time. And this group of white American dudes walk in, and this guy's like looking at me. And I'm like doodling away on my laptop. And he comes up and he goes, "Hey, Sarah?" And I looked up and I went, "Huh?" And he goes, "Are you Sarah?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Oh, you look so much like this girl, Sarah." Okay, I'm not Sarah. I go back to my computer.
Was that
And he's
really
like,
his opening line?
"Yes." And he says, "What's your name?" And I said, "Regina." And he was like, "Oh," he's like, "Are you staying here?" And I was like, "No, I live in Tulum." He's like, "You live in Tulum?"
First of all, that is a terrible line,
Line.
but I know who it would work on. It would have worked on 20-something-year-old Tiffany,
Uh-huh.
which is our new level of ick and new theory of why so many men, and I'm not talk listen, we all know if you've listened to other episodes, I have a definite propensity for men much my senior, okay?
Totally. Yeah.
But then there's like an age gap where I'm sorry, but it's like pedophile territory. It's really gross to me, and it's like, I think like where you're seeing like a 55-year-old and a 21-year-old, and the 21-year-old is like very wafy, like looks like she's in high school, like very naive, very wafy, that kind of a vibe. But that line would have worked on that 20 something naive, total fucking idiot,
Totally.
Tiffany, I would have been like, truly thinking that he mistook me for somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
and now when guys like do those kind of lines on us, we know it's like, bro, like just straightforward.
And I think it's such an ick too because as I'm encountering men from other cultures, they don't do that. They'll see me at a bar, smile, make eye contact, make sure there's a connection, and then they walk right up. Hey, what's your name? Do you live here? Where are you from? Boom. Like that, all the men that I meet out in the wild, they approach me. I send them energy back when they look at me. Like I
You
play
are
the flirt.
really good at that. I need to learn this and embody this. I used to be good at it.
Yeah, it's just mean like establishing a nonverbal connection is really what it is, and smiling and being friendly. Because also like it doesn't have to be romantic. I've met a lot of men who are just friendly and cool guys around town, and I see them, they see me, we make eye contact, we smile, but then they come up and they connect and they ask me my name and they want to know my story right away. Don't call me fucking Sarah and act like you know me from somewhere else, and then I clearly wasn't interested at all. And then he went back to his like bro friends and he's like, "Oh, like, are you gonna be here for a while?" And I was like, "I don't know, dude. I'm working. Like, have fun with your
But
friends."
the audacity of quite a few of these men that are not white Americans in Tulum are also next level.
Listen, these it's just men in general are audacious.
I feel like if they're not really that attractive, they're even more audacious, and or if they're hot and broke. I would say those are the
Oh.
top two most audacious. What do you think?
I think that if they're hot and broke and they're not attractive and they've got the cash money,
Mm-hmm.
they can be really audacious. Although I've encountered some that are not hot and are broke and are audacious.
So it could just be the species as a whole.
Honestly, I think it's the
Like
species as a whole.
what about the guy you were dancing with, having a great time with? You weren't even very attracted to him, and he wanted to hang out, but like what he really wanted was your friend's information.
My God, that guy. And I keep seeing him
And
everywhere.
he feels like he has no shame in that game. And it's like even basic courtesy was so rude. And then he
What
wanted
was
to hook up with you after you let him know your friend's married.
I spent a whole day hanging out, dancing with this guy, drinking, chatting, like vibing. He told me countless times how beautiful he thinks I am. You have such amazing energy. I'd love to take you out to dinner. Ba 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 ba. After this encounter, and then that night he wanted to come home with me. And I said, "You're not coming home with me, but you can take me to dinner." And he said, "Great, I'd love you to take you to dinner this week." A couple days later, he DMs me. His first question is about our friend that's married that was in town. And then after I told him she was married and left, he was like, "Oh, well, I think you have great energy and I'd love to spend time with you." And he's like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I said, "I'm busy forever, period." Un- Unfollowed him on Instagram and made him unfollow me. Get here.
Wow. Wait, now when you said period like that, there was the guy where God, these text messages, man, you've got to really, these people have to, you got to, you got to check how you're sending stuff. People, it's like insane. And
I
what did
know.
that guy write where he wrote something and he put a period at the end and you're like, and then what you sent and everything you sent back had a period after it.
The guy, the fucking
Oh,
American,
that's right.
the
The
Amer
spiritually evolved American,
the spiritually evolved spiritual
the
narcissist,
coach for coaches.
the coach for coaches, who sent me this text message. He spent this time with me. We went out, we hung out. He was like, "I really want to get to know you. I really want to connect with you more." Blah, 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 blah. Goes back to Estados Unidos. And then he like disappears. And then he sends me this like curt text message that was basically like, oh, life's been really busy. Hope you're well, period. Don't you fucking hope your life is well, period. After you poured your heart out to me, period, and grabbed my face and kissed me, period, and told me you wanted to spend more time with me, period.
I feel like
I was so mad.
he's the type of guy who dictates his text messages.
But usually doesn't the iPhone tell you though? It says like sent with Siri.
It does. Oh, I didn't know that.
The
I'm not a text message dictator.
I'm not.
I don't get it. It's not my vibe. I think it's also because I talk for a living nonstop.
Same.
So I don't really want to talk my text messages. Like that is another level of effort to me.
Well, I also just think like so much is lost in texting, like our tone and connotation, that if we can speak a message and people can hear it, there's more clarity on what we're saying and what we mean, and they can hear the inflections in our voices.
I like a
and I like a voice
if he
memo.
threw in a couple emojis in there, he could have saved himself.
No, I know. Well, no, and he couldn't have saved himself because then remember, this is how small Tulum is. I have a new female friend who's becoming one of my good friends, and I found out that all that he was giving me about want to spend time with you, want to get to know you, think we could have something, he was also saying it to one of my friends who I didn't know at the time. We hadn't met yet, but she was here during the same trip, and he was giving her the same business. So no, he could not have saved this.
I forget. There's so many levels to this whole thing. So here's something that is an ick for me. It's been an ick for me for a long time. It's actually like, it's such a big ick that I would dare to say at this point in my life, it's a deal breaker. And this is the guy, I call them the coupon guys. The guys who break out a coupon. I don't give a fuck if it's a physical coupon or it's a digital coupon.
Yes.
And I'm talking like when you're in the dating stage. I'm not talking if you're married, you're in a long-term relationship and you get a free appetizer at Chili's, like good for you.
Totally.
I'm talking Chili's, or even a gift card. It's still unattractive. Use the gift card down the road, use it on something else. I remember there was this guy who, of course, hot, into him. This was in my plenty of fish days. Those of you remember that app,
POF days.
So many crazy stories from POF in particular. More
was
so
was POF free?
POF was free. Yep.
Okay.
And POF still exists, by the way. There's people who are like resurrecting the POF. But I would never do a free app.
No.
No. We need to there's no way. But anyway, why was I surprised when it was a free app? Like, I don't even think there's a paid level on POF. Anyway,
I didn't think that there was. No,
I don't think so. And this is when I did my 30 dates in 30 days experience that probably ended. I think it ended on day 18 and me having a meltdown and blowing up my life. So this guy, I did a lot of heavy vetting. I know none of you are surprised. Lot of pre-qualifying phone time. Right. Mm-hmm. So while I was multitasking, doing laundry and stuff like that, we'd be on, I'm not going to put on makeup and look cute and waste waste a Thursday night, Friday night. We need to do at least some vetting. And he was like, I have somewhere, I really want to take you. And he was talking it up. And the area I lived in, it's where my quiet house is, Calabasas. Listen, I know all the spots. I don't maybe know all the spots now, but at that time, there weren't that many spots. And I was like, oh, I'm like, well, maybe there is a new spot. Maybe we're driving to Santa Barbara or something exciting, because he seemed like that kind of guy. He had a profession where he had cash. I can't remember what he did. I remember what he looked like, but I don't even remember what he did. And he really kept talking it up. And I was like, okay, so I have to look cute. I even got like a new dress because I really built it up in my head of where this was going to be. And I even took a half of an anti-nausea pill because I get like motion sickness easily. Because I assumed we were going over the canyon to West Hollywood. We were going to Santa Barbara. We were going through the mountains to go to Malibu. Like that's how much she was talking
Yeah.
about. Those, I know we have a lot of internationals who listen to the show, so we're gonna have to come up with like the restaurant in comparison that you might know internationally, but we'll still paint the picture. You know where this motherfucker pulls in, and I go to this plaza all the time now because it's a place that has really good tacos. And like a mini mall, like in LA, there's a lot of like those little mini malls. Like, and you can have a
Yeah.
very nice restaurant in LA, like a
Totally.
Mastro's in a mini mall,
Yeah. Strip mall. Yeah.
like a strip mall. And he's pulling in there. Well, I know every store in the strip mall. Like this is my strip mall. This is where Bed Bath and Beyond is. You know what I mean? And this is where like FedEx is. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, maybe he's doing a stop because there's also like a Bevmo there, which is like basically
Okay.
like where you can buy like, wine and alcohol. I'm like, maybe he's getting a bottle, a champs or something. And
Totally.
I still thought it was sus, and I didn't say anything. And we pull up and we're getting out, and we were not parked in the area in front of like the like Bevmo. And
Okay.
that's the only acceptable store in this whole strip mall that we could have gotten. What does he need? Like a fucking toaster oven? We're not going to
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond. This motherfucker takes me to the corner bakery. The corner bakery, for those of you guys, how do we describe the corner bakery?
I don't Panera.
It's like Panera, yeah, like Panera. Yeah, it's like Panera bread, like soup and a salad, half
It's like
sandwich, half
it's
soup.
kind of like if you're international, it's kind of like Pret a
Yes.
Manger a little
Yeah.
bit, but not Pret's a little nicer than Corner Bakery.
Yes. And I mean, this is somewhere where you would go out with like your office bestie to lunch. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even take a client there to lunch.
No, no, no. It's a place you stop and pick up soup and go back to the office.
Right. And
Yeah,
they even do office catering. And I didn't even know
totally.
they were open at night, honestly. And so he like holds the door, and this guy's holding up the energy as though we're walking into like an elite 5-star experience.
I'm deceased.
And he opens the door for me, and we're walking in. And like, listen, I've been Botoxed for a very long time. But even with that, anyone who knows me, if you're watching right now, you always know really if I'm into something or not. I can't
Totally.
hide it. My energy is very loud in either direction. And I was more like, this is crazy. Like, this is not happening. What is like, I was in disbelief. And there was still a part of me that thought maybe we're picking up items to go to like the Hollywood Bowl. Like, this is like a picnic
Totally.
pickup, you
Yeah.
know? And he was like explaining this restaurant to me, which you don't even have a waiter or waitress.
No.
You order and they bring you the food, and you have a plastic number on a stand. And so he like hands me the menu, and he was telling me like, I like the pesto turkey panini, da 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 da. And he's like, and he goes, and this wine is great because the corner bakery does have wine, which I didn't know.
They do?
They have wine, but it's like, Barefoot Dreams or whatever. Not Barefoot Dreams. That's the
That's
blanket
the
I like.
blanket. Barefoot.
Wait, it's like Barefoot, or like, what's the other wine? Like cupcake wine?
Cupcake.
And
Bronzia something.
and it gets worse
Okay.
because when he goes to pay, which is right up at the register, he had a fucking coupon for
Like
us.
a
It was a
physical coupon.
buy one like meal, buy one entree, get one free, and it was a physical coupon. And
No.
I was like, how fast can I get out of here? I am so turned off. And he was like giddy with delight. Like he thought I was going to be impressed by his coupon usage. Now listen, I used to be a coupon cutter. I'm not joking. I prided myself. I even had a
I
coupon organizer.
I was gonna say you had the organizer too, didn't you?
I stacked those Bed Bath and Beyond motherfucking 20% off coupons like no one's business.
Well, when you said Bed Bath, that was my Bed Bath and Beyond. I was imagining you with all your Bed
I
Bath
had
and Beyond
all of them.
coupons.
I knew the game. I was a lead at it. I don't know if you remember the store. Remember Linens and Things,
Of
which
course I
and you
do.
could use the Bed Bath and Beyond at Linens and Things and vice versa. I mean,
Because it was the same
I
company, yeah.
listen. I knew this game well, so like I have mad respect for coupons, but this was so unattractive. I can't do cheap,
No.
and he was clearly cheap. This was not hot, and then he also didn't leave a tip. I
Oh,
think it's fucked up if you go to a restaurant, even if I'm with a friend and you're paying with a gift card, and like sometimes you have enough of the gift card where you can use like you can tip the server
yeah,
from the gift card. That's fine. But let's say you don't. I think it's really messed up to not tip on
it
the
is.
original full
Amount.
amount of the meal.
You tip on the full amount. And if you go to a restaurant and they comp you or you know people and they give you stuff, you always tip at least on the full amount. When I'm gifted stuff, I always tip more than the appropriate amount. Like,
And he
wow.
kept saying, like, isn't this the best sandwich? Isn't this amazing?
So
And
he really loved it.
he was really into it. And I was in shock because remember, if this is someone's top tier game, it only goes down from there. That's,
Wow.
and that's what we have to like remember in general with people. I don't care what you're into, who you're
Totally.
into, business or personal. Like when you're meeting somebody and that's their top tier, you need to know like that's their best foot forward. It doesn't get better from there.
Totally. And that's why when we talk about like an ick of coupons or gift cards on the first date, if that's your first foot forward, I want to know that like you know, you don't value like 20% off to go to dinner with me. You know what I mean? Or a free cheese quesadilla to have dinner with me.
I mean, and it's like I get it. I get it, but like that's definitely not a good sign. And I always remember that even when it's like someone who like is meeting me out like a potential like client or something like that, and I'm noticing like how they treat the wait staff or if they hold the
Totally.
door for people or if they order their own food first and don't
Yep.
have me order first if it's like a
Totally.
dude. And I pick up on those things and I go, this is someone's best, Tiffany. This is someone's best foot forward. Doesn't matter how hot they are. It doesn't matter how rich they are. It doesn't matter that this could be like a giant whale of a client. Like
Totally.
these are clear indicators. So
Totally.
if you want to be best set up to truly cash in and have 2025 be your most abundant year yet, to have your zero fucks given year of your life, then you need to make sure that you join my Secret Posse weekly digest. This is my free email community. And this is not like some basic newsletter that you get that's always like trying to sell you stuff or it's just like cookie cutter and AI writes it. No, this is me writing to you with personal stories, personal photos from my camera roll, journal entries. Plus, I share exclusive manifestation and money mindset tricks, tips, techniques, and you get a weekly affirmation from me that's designed to go with what is going on energetically in the world. And they're all designed to read in less than 30 seconds and change your state from scarcity and back into the abundance zone. There's some really exciting stuff coming up that we're going to announce, and you want to make sure that you're first because people who are first get giveaways, insane specials, bonuses, all sorts of stuff from me as long as you're a part of my secret posse. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. Swipe up. It's in the show notes to join in my link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. Make a move, do that for yourself. There's no reason not to. And make sure the emails aren't going to your junk or spam folder. You need to actually add these as approved emails to get them in your inbox because some of you keep signing up and you keep saying, like, I'm not let into the secret posse. Like, why am I not in? make sure you go and check those folders. I promise you'll be shocked to see what other emails are in there. I get people's emails that literally spend a fortune on their email team and their tech team, and major brands that I know I've signed up for their list and I don't have anything, and they're in that graveyard. So pull me out of the graveyard so that you don't have to keep signing up. And if you need any help with it, you can always email our team as well. Let's transition to one of my personal favorite topics, but now it's gone to another level.
I'm
You
dead.
guys, I have, right? I have Polly the influencer, I have Sarah the spiritual influencer, but we've really not gone deep into Farah the fantasy marketer.
Oh, Farah.
The level of scams of these spiritual, whatever we want to call them, healers, coaches, I don't know, all the different names that they give themselves, energetics with an X, experts,
Yeah.
um, has has gone to has gone to a level where there's going to be a Netflix special. It is gone, it's
Absolutely.
definitely criminal. And
Yeah.
you're in the land of these people.
I'm in the land of
They
them.
have a parade in Tulum. Like
It,
they're
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I'm noticing this trend of people where oftentimes they can fall into the manifestation space or the business coaching space. Sometimes there's overlap between the two, and they are trying to sell a lifestyle and an income that they don't actually earn. So they talk about, $1 million years and $100,000 days and all this stuff. And they are very artful in how they write their copy and their sales pages and how they speak about things. And when you look a little closer, you realize that they're not actually making $100,000 a day and they're not making $1 million a month. And it's a shim sham. It's a sham. When somebody's making $100,000 a day, look at the room that they're in when they're talking about what they're doing. Look at what they're surrounded with. Look at how they present themselves.
Like, do they have popcorn ceilings and a white refrigerator from 1985?
They're not making $100,000 a day. They're probably not even making $100,000 in a year.
Why do you think that this has gotten exponentially worse? Like, why do you think so many of them are doing it? Because what's sad is some of these people who are doing it actually probably do have some beautiful gifts to share with the world.
Totally.
So why the hell are they doing it? Is it because they think it's like an easy money grab?
I think there's layers to this answer, okay? The first thing is I think that they're doing it because there is a money grab, whether conscious or unconscious. And you and I see this too. When you're scrolling, if you see somebody talking about wealth and all the money that they make, it's a scroll stopper. Like if you see that somebody says they make $100,000 a month, I know for me, I'm like, I immediately watch the post, go to their profile, go through their stuff. Baby girl, what are you doing to make $100,000 a month?
Shit like that in my content. I do that.
I want to know, how are you doing this? Give me the tea. So it's going to draw people in, right? And so that's the first thing. The second thing is, and you and I have chatted about this before, where they feel like even though they're not yet making that money, they're on a journey, they're manifesting it, they're calling it in. So they're speaking as if has already happened, but they're misleading people by acting as if it has already happened. Yeah,
So
you
that's
should
how they're
act as if.
justifying it. They justify it to themselves or some coach who's teaching them this. And
Yes.
there's ones I have in mind
Same.
where they teach them this, and they say, like in manifestation, you have to act as if, and you have to speak it into existence, and you have to talk about it that it's already here and that it will be here. And so I can see, like, okay, like I teach manifestation, like I get that. but there's a line when you cross it between making other people believe that you actually have it now.
It's unethical and they're lying.
They're
Like,
beyond lying. And one of the ways I've noticed that they also lie is you're not seeing a bunch of stuff. One of the greatest places to go, and listen, all you all who are listening, you're all investigators.
yes,
Okay. All of you. I know what you guys do. We all can do deep dives. All of us know how to do this. Think about it. If someone is not in their Instagram stories, Instagram, Facebook stories, you're not seeing, not that you have to show every room in your house. Okay. I understand there's like discretion, but you're not seeing regular stuff of in their house, their travels. Like you're not
totally.
seeing any of this stuff in their videos. It's mostly like they get really up close, they're really up close to the camera and or the back and the background is blurred and they're talking to you like this, like
Yeah.
that is a red flag to me.
Yeah. I want to see what your sofa looks like.
And listen, I don't have like I mean, Regina can attest for this. Like at the beach house, it's not like some interior designer curation. I would say my other house definitely is more like aesthetically more designed. But
But
so
you
I'm
have a
not
house,
saying,
but
right?
you have a house where the seat that you're sitting in right now, when you look up, there's the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly. Like it's also like someone's taste. Like I understand like some people aren't super into like interior designer. That's not a priority. I'm not talking about that. It's not like you
Totally,
have to have a
same.
Lamborghini.
No.
But if someone is also making it sound like, well, you just need to like get into the embodiment and get into the energy and frequency of money, and then you're going to make money, that is not a business plan. That is not
No.
true. I'm not saying there isn't the energy and embodiment of that.
That is one of the steps, but there are other steps like strategy and then actually doing something.
Like we're doing something right now. You know what I mean? Like this show and something that we have coming out for you guys. You guys are going to shit.
Dee, dee, dee.
This has been manifested. This has been discussed. Regina and I say regularly, like when we're famous, like we
Yes.
use this verbiage, right? Like that's calling it in. But it's not just
Yeah.
gonna like we're not just like sitting back and this is gonna magically happen. We're recording this on a fucking Saturday. Okay. What
There's a
is
reason why we're both in bed right now. Okay? I don't have pants on.
I don't either. It's like this is, and we talk about this. We have a shared notes app of like
Yes.
there's actions that are going on. This doesn't mean it has to be miserable and hard and grinding, but like there's
No.
actual regular actions taking place. And then, but let's talk about the people who end up buying from the spiritual fantasy people, because if you've done this, you guys, and it's okay, I've fallen for stuff too, but we have to own our part in it. Okay. Like we have to own our part. Like I got to talk about the retreat thing because Regina's retreats are something special. And she is in this space, right? Like she's talking about this and she is in this space. Like she is a fucking healer. Like she does the
Yeah.
somatic work, the breath work practitioner. Like that's the whole point of her retreats. But if she marketed it by saying like all of your decades of childhood trauma, imagine they're gonna disappear by the end of our X many days together, and it's gonna put you into the energy of money to where you are going to be making more money than ever within days of
Right.
experience. And then she's claiming I go to the jungle and I do plant medicine and I
Right.
do breath work, release work, and that's literally what I do to make all of my money. Like that shit, she would have a waiting list for years.
For years, and I won't do it. Like, because it's not true. Like, yes, the healing work and the energetic work and the nervous system work is a foundational element of building a business, because you are the energetic, like, foundation of your business. But you also have to work, bitch. Like, I girl bossed so hard this week. I worked, okay. It was one of those weeks. It's a season of a lot of work for me right now. That's okay. My seasons are not always like this, but I set the intention. I live in the most magnificent place. I am filled with joy and abundance and am making and bringing in more money than I have in a really long time. And also, I am fucking working.
Why do you think that people will end up signing up, let's say, for like a Costa Rica ayahuasca retreat that's done by a fantasy marketer or something like that? And they'll even pay like 3 times the amount of what
Yeah.
your retreat is. And I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah.
Why do you think people will buy that? And they'll buy that over, what you have going on. Like, this is my point is, we have to take ownership of our part when you've bought into fantasy marketing, whether it's me buying a supplement that's claiming that, like, I'm going to lose 3 inches in my waist, in 90 days. Like,
Right.
right. Like, is it because they're looking for the easy way out?
Yes.
Is it because they really do believe in the person who is doing this fantasy marketing? Like, whose side of the street? Like, what's the responsibility here?
I think it's one, they want an easy way out, and two, they want to believe this person because this person gives them the easy way out. That's what I think. And then I think on the side of the person selling, they artfully know the pain points of their consumer. They know their consumer wants things to happen quick and easily, and that comes together, and you have a perfect match.
But let me tell you
Like,
guys what happens, okay? After coaching over 150,000 people worldwide, been doing this work with people for 17 years. You want to know what happens when you fantasy market, whether it's in the health world, it's in the spiritual world, it's in real estate, it's in
mhm.
clothing, it's in whatever, okay? Coaching industry, business coaching. You end up attracting fucking low-hanging fruit people,
Yep.
like victimy type people who want the easy way. And when it doesn't work, these people won't pay. They're going to want their money back. They'll never buy from
Mhm.
you again because you've set them up to be so entitled. And so then you've set them up with an expectation it's going to be so easy and flowy and wonderful and aligned and all just happens. And then when it's not, they're going to blame you.
Of
And
course.
then it doesn't end well. And then in order to make more money, you're going to have to get a whole fresh batch of people in to go down that path. So while it might seem like the easy way to market to get money, like an easy grab, it ends up not being easy. It will
Mm-mm.
backfire on you. And I've had a lot of people come to me. There's one particular who's my muse,
Yeah.
one particular coach where if I were to say there's 2 people in the industry that I get the most leftovers from.
Yeah,
And what
you
I mean by
do.
leftovers is I'm horrified. I invested a gazillion dollars with this person. I have to make money. I'm embarrassed to even say how much I spent and what I
Mm.
did. And I learned nothing. And they told me it's all my energy. My energy is the problem. My energy is the problem. And they got no strategy. And it's like, but the person who sold them got money out of them.
A lot of money.
And it's not right, but this is why people do it. But when I've asked people, and you've asked people too before, at one of my masterminds,
I
there's
did, yeah.
someone in
Yep.
we know in particular, and she was very honest, which was helpful for all of us to hear. And we're like, well, then why do you keep buying from this person? Because
Yeah.
she would buy course after course from this person, expecting like this will be the secret sequence.
She
This
thought it
will
was
be
going to
the
be like
secret sequence.
Scientology, like buy the next level and you got to go to the next level.
Right, like this will be like buy my wealth codes and the price. I have a mysterious price, and then the price is going to disappear in the amount of days that I choose from spirit, and
Yeah.
then these wealth codes will disappear forever. And
Right.
that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. And she kept buying it, and her answer was, I thought maybe like the answer would all click if I just buy the next thing, and maybe I need to buy the
Totally.
next thing for this thing to make sense. And it goes back to because she wanted it to be true so
Yeah.
badly.
And then she invested so much money. She was like, well, I've already invested so much with this person. I feel like I should invest some more. Like, I've already gotten this far.
But it is like Scientology. It's like, well, you're at this level. And then they say, well, it's not working. My life hasn't changed how you said it was going to. Well, you've not ascended to blah, blah, blah yet.
You
You're just
haven't
in the
done
early phase.
you haven't done enough.
Wait, how have I not discussed the term of 2024 of all terms? Did you guys know that Regina and I, along with everyone on my team and many of our mutual friends, all of us have demons apparently. Like we have demonic
Uh-huh.
energy. And just letting you know that. So
Uh-huh.
we have demonic energy around us, and a lot
Yes,
of
we
people
do.
walking around do. But there is literally someone who is charging people and coaching people, okay? And she is a demonologist, and it's on her website. Like
Uh-huh.
I know I can picture people's faces right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm dead.
Tiff,
Now,
how would you describe based on what you've heard, how would you define a demonologist?
this is someone who, and listen, I'm not going to get into all of it yet because I don't want to give this person any clout. Let's just say that several of my current private clients were targeted. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I have the receipts, I have the fucking emails. Regina has seen them. So obviously went through the website. So this is what this person does. You submit like kind of almost like an intake form. And then this person determines energetically, even without even talking to you yet, that she knows if you have demonic energy or you're carrying demonic energy, or in fact, you might have a demon inside of you. And then she sends an email to you letting you know, like, I actually can't coach you right now until this demon and this demonic energy, they're all removed from your life and they're expelled. And you are going to need to, be treated by a demonologist. So now the person is going, oh my God, like someone thinks I have like a demon in me. Like now there's a lot of people like me where I would laugh, like, okay, this person's whack
Totally.
as fuck. And I might just pay for entertainment purposes and content purposes. But truly, if I'm thinking of like Tiffany when had no self-worth and I was like, hadn't done any of the like deep inner work yet, I might have gone, because of my trauma, like
Totally.
maybe I do have this, and it sounds weird, but like maybe this is what's wrong with me. And then if you don't reply, she comes back with, I know this is a lot to take in when you're being told that that you have a demon, and you've likely not been told this before. And let's set up a time to like talk about it.
I'm dead. But also, don't forget to tell them that the emails being sent were copy and pasted and everyone got the same email.
And there's like multiple fonts, right? Yeah, there's different fonts. Yeah, it's just a copy and paste program. So if any of you are, just know that like if any of you think you might have a demon inside of you, there is something called a demonologist. I'm dead. Like I want to create like a title for myself. Like I'm a wealthologist.
I want
Actually,
to be
that sounds really good.
I want to be a somaticologist.
I
A
just think,
breathologist. I want to be a breathologist.
like, what does someone do? Do they really sit there and they're like, wait, I just saw my like gynecologist? Like, I'm going to tell people, like, because when you make a title out of something like that, it makes it sound like it's an actual thing. Wait, I want to look it up. Is there, like, is that a real thing? I'm
Let's
looking this
see.
up.
Okay, let's look this up.
Demon, demon, OLOGIST. I'm going to die if it is. Demonology. Oh, demonology is the study of demons in religious
Yeah.
belief and myth. It's also refers to studies in theology. Okay, well, okay. Demonologist on, okay. Who is a famous demonologist? I'm dying. Wait.
Ed and Lorraine Warren. Wait, let's
Oh,
see.
okay, well, anyone with the name Warren is a cult. What?
Dead.
Okay, interesting. Well, I just now you guys know. Now you guys know that this is a thing. But this
The
is the
thing the thing
this is
about
wild.
the thing about like this whole situation with a demonologist, it's another way of like fear mongering. It's another way of scaring people into buying. It's another way of being like, hey, you have a demon. And so to get that demon out of you, I'm your girl. I'm your person. I'm your demonologist. Like it's so everything about it is so offensive.
It's
And
so
what's also
wrong because you're saying to someone, you are like you are broken, something is wrong with you, and I can fix it. Like,
and
I
I
have
have the
superpowers to fix it. And what's so dangerous is doing it with someone who maybe has like an addiction. And it's like, oh,
totally.
it's not an addiction. You actually have a demon.
It's also like, and this is something that Tiffany and I have discussed, like the thing about that that's so offensive, it's also so archaic. Like to be like, you have a demon. No, you probably have like whatever that dark energy is, like what's your trauma? What's at the
Exactly.
root of your trauma? What are the things that you need to work through? Do you have hormonal imbalances? Are there physical things going on
I
in your
mean, once a
body?
month, I for sure have a demon
Once a month
that
I need a
lasts that lasts
demonologist.
5 to 7 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's like that. And but the side of it of the person who buys it, it's someone who's spiritually bypassing. It's
Yes.
someone back, it goes back to they don't want to do the deeper work, the work that takes time, the type of work that Regina does with people, right? Like they don't want to do that work. So I'll just go to someone who's going to do some special shit on me and remove this demon.
Exactly. And like, listen, I believe in light energy and dark energy and entities and all of those things. And I think that, like, do we have the ability to be exposed to different things? Yes. But when somebody's coming at you and saying, you have a demon attached to you and I'm the only person that can remove it, it's like snake oil. It's such a joke.
It is beyond a joke. And we are going to talk about, so you're not going to want to miss. We have another episode that's going to come out. Let us know if you guys are loving these co-host episodes by taking a screenshot, sharing the episode, tagging me at Project Me with Tiffany, tagging Regina at Regina A. Lawrence. Thank
Woo!
you.
Thank
And
you.
let us know what other like topics and tea you want us to spill on, because we can go on for days about so many things, but I know there's stuff that you would love to like hear the honest true take on something, the unfiltered take, the like raw and real take. And let us know. You can DM us. That's probably the best way, and a lot of you
Yes.
have, and we end up saving what you guys submit and we can incorporate them into future episodes. But both Regina and I have had ego deaths this year, and we're going to talk about, what that looks like, so you can identify if maybe you're having one,
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like in terms of manifestation, and what happens as a result of it. Plus, of course, more confessions, more insanity. I feel like I need to share what I found in my closet recently.
Yes, I have no idea.
and
I'm
in a highly inappropriate relationship that Regina had that I don't know the story on. And I go, don't tell me. You have to save this for the episode because this is too crazy. And we'll see you over there. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Remain unavailable and unbothered. We love you.
Love
See
you
you later.
guys.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.